Hello, I'm Random Weather, and this is my third devlog for this project. This week has been going through the alpha and making sure everything works effectively. I've been putting together things like the doors right here as they slide open well, the wall running was done last week, but that still works. So if I move on a chunk, you can see the things like hatches. We can open a button. You can press a button, open up a hatch, and move between levels. Has all been set up. One key issue that I've had this week that's driven me absolutely bonkers is the interaction systems. I could not get casting to work with that particular system, no matter what I did. As you can see there, I've got a perfectly malfunctioning door that opens and closes. And with the interaction system, I've managed to get it to line trace. So now when you press E, it'll trace a line, which you can just see in the red there. Gives you the crowbar with the UI at the bottom. That's been added this week. And then you can interact with this door and open it. So this week has all been about doing key mechanics like that and trying to get everything to work. The terminals are still not quite working, but I've got the UI elements in place. That's just a case of on Monday I'm going to have to finish up the code on that. But I know what I'm doing with that. It's a case of I just need to put it in place. Here you can see how I've got the keycard, which as a kind of stand-in was attached to the side of the shelf block. You can see with the keycard that without activating it first, you can press the keycard reader, it will do nothing. If you then move on back to the security room just open, you can then activate it and move back over to get back into engineering, or get into engineering. With the requirement of get the key off the top breaker, and then once the breaker is switched, it automatically teleports you over to the other side of the checkpoint in security. So you can't open this door. To get through, you have to go through this vent. You have to collect your suit, and then you can then open this door from the inside, and that's where the game will end at the end of that. Summarize, it's literally just been me putting together all the mechanics. It's been an incredibly slow, painful process of getting everything to work through getting all those doors to work, getting all the interaction systems working, starting on the terminals, to just the entire process has been in a massive pain. However, I feel like I've gotten somewhere, and by next week I should have a full beta done. As you can see here, which I had actually left open, here's one of the assets that I have been making in order to bring it into the beta. This is a storage shelf. So if I look over here, you can see the stand-in locks, these storage shelves. There. Here's what they will actually be. A very basic shelf. Next up, I've got to carry on 3D modeling. I've got the asset list in place with a lot of cutout. Like, a lot of it's been cut out. I've had to remove probably 2/3 of the assets, maybe just under, in order to make sure I'm on track. Most of these assets aren't needed, or I can simply put them in place with Unreal. It'll be much simpler. So I've removed anything that's not needed or had a lesser role. In addition to that, I also removed the puzzle, which was originally going to be just before the vent over here. Originally, you'd have to find a screwdriver to open up the vent. I'm now going to simply remove that and leave the vent open, as that's another element that would cost more time, as I'm trying to cut as much time as possible. This is something I expected to happen, Not anywhere near as badly as this, but I expected this to happen, so I have set things aside to be able to be cut. Alongside that, there's also been the other thing I cut. I had to check my notes there. The other thing I cut was at the start here, there's going to be a code button. While having all the issues with the casting and everything, I entirely removed that, as it's a very minor part of the game, and it's costing me far too much time for what it was, which was a button or a code reader originally. Aside from that, things aren't as much as they're going quite badly in terms of the timing and how I'm much further behind than I'd like to, and how I'm cutting loads out this game. It could be worse. I'm still in a position where I feel I'm able to finish this, and I've been adjusting my schedule as I go to ensure that I am going to have a playable build ready for testing at the beta level and not just with blocked out alpha. It's been incredibly frustrating because this game is nothing like what I originally had planned. It's disappointing, to be honest, but with the amount of time I've got left, there's no way for me to turn this into what I had originally planned and thought out. It really needed probably another month for it to be what I needed, or at least someone to be dedicated to programming, in which case I'd be able to focus all the elements I needed to do design. When I started this project, I wanted it to be something that focused on each area. Like, I was still doing a lot of 3D modeling, I'm still doing a lot of programming and everything, and I haven't neglected those to keep the complexity up. But but in the process of doing that, I feel like I've neglected my original the main focus of this project, which was environmental storytelling and the story overall. It's just been put further back as I've had to make sure everything works. So it's been incredibly annoying. But what can you do? I've had to cut so much out to make sure it works. At the end of the day, it will work. It's just going to be incredibly underwhelming, I believe, at the end. But who knows? Maybe it will suddenly look far better once I get to beta next week. Next week, yeah, it's just going to be finish off the couple mechanics I haven't finished, putting it into beta with all the different 3D assets as such here, and testing the mending. It's all next week. By the end of next week, the game will be done. It'll be on to evaluation. So, with that short amount of time, transferring things over to beta won't take long. With each asset, such as these, they're either normal cubes, in which case I'll just simply import the asset and put them in the place where the cube used to be, or with things like that keycard thing there. That is simply it has an actor, so I can just replace the static mesh with the object. Maybe we have to do some resizing in Maya, but it shouldn't take that long. I can see me using the entirety of Monday to bring everything up to scratch, but that shouldn't be too bad. Other than that, it is all coming together. I'm just a bit disappointed in how it's turning out. That's all.